my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior.
Hi everyone, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel, and welcome to Therapy Thursdays. I'm so excited for you all to join me for my first Therapy Thursday, and I'm just really excited to just be diving more into therapy and self-care here on my channel. I've talked a little bit about it here and there throughout other videos, but these Thursdays will be focused specifically on therapy and self-care. And for those who don't know, I am a trained therapist, and I also live with major depressive disorder. So I have the educational background and the lived experience. It is a bittersweet type of situation, and it has taught me a lot. I will say that my lived experience has taught me many things that grad school did not teach me and could not ever teach me. I think that both are important for my journey, and my lived experience really speaks to my education in a way that it just wouldn't if I just had the book knowledge. So that's just a quick spark note, a little bit about my personal history. But today, I want to talk a little bit about why therapy is important. And therapy doesn't always have to be specifically you're sitting down with a therapist or a counselor and you're doing a whole 1 hour session. That isn't always how therapy is manifested. There are a lot of things throughout your life that are therapeutic, and some of those lean more towards self-care than it is actual legitimate sit down with a professional type of therapy. But they all are very, very important, because even if you are seeing a specific therapist once a week or however often you're seeing it, the time in between those meetings are really important for you to dive in and do therapy and self-care within yourself. In the same way, if we're talking about Christianity, going to church once a week is great, but what you're doing in between the week, the rest of that day on Sunday, before and after church, and every day throughout the week, how you're spending time with God and really diving into your spiritual health in that way is important. So it's good on every level. The professional, the structured side of it with a professional therapist or at church, and then also your personal, everyday, every second, every minute, therapeutic and spiritual life. So that is really why it's really, really important. Now, when it comes to mental health, I like to compare it to physical health because there are so many similarities, and really the world would be a safer place if we compared mental health to physical health much more, because they are the same in a lot of ways, and if not the same, mental health may be a tad bit more important because your mindset really bleeds out into everything that you do. But I will leave that rant somewhere else. The video is already 3 minutes. So here we go. When I like to compare the two, I think about like just seeing a primary care physician, or like your year checkup at the bare minimum. Just do a yearly routine checkup if nothing like big happens with your physical health. With mental health, there's no real comparison in that way. Like, we aren't required or encouraged to sit down with a professional to really dive into what we have going on mentally. And even if physically your health is pretty good, you don't have any big, big scares with your physical health, you still want to go and kind of maintain and look into, get your levels checked, get your blood pressure checked and all that stuff. I don't know the medical terms, so I'm not going to try to keep going into the details, but just in general, a little checkup just to make sure things are going well is important. So when comparing mental and physical health, you don't always have to go to a professional unless it gets serious enough for a professional. So like when it comes to physical things, if you have a cold or whatever other things that happen physically that you don't necessarily need a doctor for, then that's okay. You don't have to go to a doctor. Same thing with mental health. If it's just day-to-day life struggles and frustrations that we encounter, that everybody encounters, you don't have to necessarily go to therapy for that. But if it is something deeper than the surface, therapy is really encouraged. Just like if it's something more serious physically, then you're going to go to a doctor or the ER, the hospital. You're going to do something, right? So I want to encourage us to just to begin to kind of think about mental health and physical health in the same family, in the same sentence, of the same importance, because it's really, really helpful. And then while we're on that comparison, when you think about, oh, maybe you're thinking, you know, I have something really deep going on, but I don't really need a therapist. I don't really have to do all that. I can just talk to my friend or maybe even a church leader, the pastor or something. So again, if you break your leg, you're not going to go to a friend to have them talk you through it. You're not going to go to your pastor and have you talk them through it. No, it would be good to contact those people so that they can be praying about it. But you might want to go to a professional to have them patch that up or whatever they need to do with that. So the same thing with mental health. You might want to go to a professional to have them patch up that mindset, to have them help you work through that. Because the thing with professionally trained therapists, we are trained to guide and facilitate a mental process in a way that people who aren't trained are not able to do. So that is why that's important. And when it comes to church and leadership, I might do a separate video or a separate few videos on that. But a pastor and a church leader doesn't automatically make them qualified to counsel in a therapeutic way, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm saying that sentence the best. It doesn't qualify them as a trained therapist. I'm just going to say it that way. So they might be trained for spiritual counseling in that way, but when it comes to heavy, severe mental health situations, unless the pastor is trained in mental health, then they aren't the person to dive in deep in those type of things, if that makes sense. So I'll only say that, again, to encourage you to seek a professional if you need to, and that it's okay. So just kind of think about it, dive in, just begin to think about your mental state, and if you feel like you need something more than just a chat with a friend or a family member. And also, when it comes to debriefing with friends and family members and even a church leadership, it is hard for them to be unbiased. And as therapists, we are trained to be unbiased. And we also typically don't know you, because you should not give therapy to a friend or a family member. So most likely you go to a therapist who is a stranger. And so they are unbiased. While when you're talking to your friend or your family member, they are going to be biased. Whether it's for or against you, they're going to be biased. And that also is just not a healthy dynamic if you're trying to work through something deep. But anyway, so that is going to be it for today, and we will dive into more specific details about some of the things I mentioned in this video and also explore new ideas. So I hope that this is encouraging for some of you who might be considering therapy and not sure if it's for you, or if you have certain misconceptions about therapy or a certain mindset about therapy that is unhealthy and untrue. Maybe this can help break that wall down and just push you to a better state of mental health. And I'm very grateful for you watching this video, and I will see you for another video on Sunday for my vlogs, and then Tuesday is Trinity Love Tuesdays, and Thursdays will be Therapy Thursdays. You can check out my last video to see my breakdown of the schedule if you're interested in that. So thank you so much for watching, and remember to love always. Bye.
I am yours and you mine.